I love getting to be backstage at events like this. I've really gotten into it. I mean, all my entire adult life, I've been a radio and TV guy. Everything's done in the studio. When you're on location, it's usually a big deal and a big problem. And so everybody does everything in the studio, right?
This is a lot more fun being out here.
It is. I've
It's a
always
lot.
thought that way. I've always loved doing remotes. I've always been on, love being on location. So now I got to be a part of, and thank you to the folks who made this happen. For me to be backstage in the media area. Heck was that?
We're still here. Nobody got shot.
Talk about live. That's what happens when you're live. Anyway, it's been a thrill to be here at the Reawaken America tour, and I've been meeting some extraordinary people, doing what I've been saying we need to be doing for the past 2.5, 3 years. I've been saying Calvary's not coming. We can't be waiting for a president to come in and save the day. We better be acting locally and impacting globally. We got to get our mindset more on, we better be taking care of ourselves. We better be building our own way to get information across, even medically, everything that those who are hell-bent on their global, one world government, Star Trek utopia are going to leave out anybody who doesn't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that.
No way.
But we have no way to get this across. This very show that I just did with Mike Lindell before this will probably get me kicked off Facebook. It most likely would.
Charlie, here's the thing. We are trying to build a company. We have a company, Conservative Broadcast Media and Journalism, of which we just bought American Media Periscope a couple months ago. We are in the process of building a conservative media platform.
See, he's doing it. He's doing what I've been saying we need to do.
Exactly right. And the goal of Conservative Broadcast Media and Journalism, CBMJ, publicly traded company, we're going to have a platform where conservative podcasters, influencers, streamers, radio hosts, just like we're doing right now, they're going to have a platform where you cannot have big tech censor it. You're going to be able to go on. You won't have to worry about Facebook, Google, Microsoft, whomever interrupting what you have to say in your message. And Charlie, we want to build that so that podcasters, streamers, conservatives can get their viewpoint out without having to be censored.
And we do have some things like that, but they're very specialized. And what you're talking about is an actual network of information and entertainment, which is extraordinary. This is our future, and we got to be building this now, and I'm so glad you are. I didn't even introduce you. His name is Mark Schaftlein, by the way. He's CEO of CBMJ.
Charlie, thank you for that. Yes. So think about this, folks. You have right now, if you have cable, you can click on news, sports, entertainment, movies, whatever. When we finish building our platform, which is going to be available January 2nd,
awesome.
We're close. Awesome. We're very close.
Happy New Year.
We got big news coming up. We're going to be closing on a transaction December 27th. We'll put out the news about it, but it's going to be an open invitation for the podcasters, the streamers, people with a conservative mindset that want to get their message out. We are going to have that platform available, whether it be a religious audience, a conservative audience. We'll even go center right or even in the center. We give different voices. Now, one thing we're not going to do is be censored by the liberal mainstream media. That is not going to happen. Right. And people are not going to have to worry about being censored, canceled. Just like you were talking with Mike Lindell, all the issues he had to deal with. Mike and I are friends. We've done a lot of stuff together. He is a true American patriot, and we want to bring the Mike Lindells of the world and the General Mike Flynn's and people of like-minded thought who are patriots that want to take our country where it is and build the country the way it was meant to be. We don't have issues with people that have diverse opinions. So that's what this country.
Do what you want. I've been saying this also.
But if you're like me,
go crazy with the cheese whiz, for heaven's sake. You do whatever you want with your own stupid adult body, but stop telling me what I can or can't do.
Tell me what to do.
Right, exactly.
That's exactly. I mean, here's the thing. We as conservatives, do you ever hear us telling liberals how to act? No. I mean, we say this is how we act. This is what we believe in. This is what we like to. But, conservatives are generally happy people, Charlie. I mean, we don't get around and get pissed off about things as much.
We throw the best parties.
There's no doubt about that. And this is a good example. But I mean, here's the situation. If a conservative doesn't like something, okay, do what you want to do. But
I won't do it, but you do what you want.
But the liberals and the wokes and the far left-wing radicals, I mean, if something does, if the littlest thing in the world pisses them off, oh, we got to cancel this guy. No,
nobody can have it because I decided I don't want you to have it.
That's exactly right. I mean, look what's going on right now. Did you ever, in your wildest mind, think we'd have a situation where we'd have 10,000 people a day coming across our southern border?
Hell no.
No way. Did you ever think we were going to have a situation where a sovereign country's citizens were attacked? 1,200 people, mainly women, children, elderly people, are massacred, murdered. Let's not call it terror. It was murdered. And then we'd have college students in our own country at some of our highest education levels supporting the group that murdered people.
No, you're right. We're next level insane. It's like they fell out of a stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. But this is frightening because what they're promoting now, the Democrats have always been the party of death. They love to
well, I can take
they love to murder babies. Let's just start there and end there. As a matter of fact, the party of death, party of anything that's conservative, killing anything that's conservative, killing anything that's of God.
Oh, and think about what they're doing right now, Charlie.
And you're in line with that now.
We're having negotiations. There are representatives in the United States Senate are saying, all right, you want $60 billion for Ukraine. You want $19 billion for Israel. You want a few $1 billion to Taiwan. All we want as conservatives is change some of these crazy border laws so that our border can be secure. Folks, we have to have a secure border to have a country. Look, think about this, Charlie. Have you ever heard a conservative say, I'm against legal immigration? No, never. Because we believe in that.
And most of us are products of
that's exactly right.
Being immigrants.
But you've got liberal Democratic senators up on the Hill saying, my God, we have immigration advocates. We have this. We cannot disrupt our liberal progressive base. And for once, Biden's in the middle saying, okay, I got to get the money for Ukraine. I want the money for Israel. And his progressive base is pushing back.
The money he owes them isn't going to pay it back itself.
It's no question about it. But look, I always love that. But look at the damage this is doing to our country, Charlie.
Yeah.
On that southern border, 10,000 people a day coming across. Look, a lot of people ask me this, Mark, you know what? What do you think about Donald Trump? And I say, whether you agree or disagree with his policies, I asked the old Ronald Reagan question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Literally, a campaign is literally going to boil down to that, Charlie. Yeah. And if you think about this, when Donald Trump was president, look, folks, I get it. A lot of people in this audience love President Trump, but there's a good chunk of the voting population out there that do not. Right. So think about this for the independent-minded voters who, by the way, are swinging to the former president. You had gasoline prices $2 to $3 a gallon. Last I looked, we didn't have foreign wars going on when President Trump was there.
You're right.
Okay. Unemployment rate was very low. Wages were growing, and you felt good as an American. We didn't have it. And at the border, crossings had gone down to a trickle, Charlie. So now contrast that with our audience to where are we today? 10,000 people a day coming across that border. We have an attack on our ally Israel by Hamas. We have the Russians and the Ukrainians in a battle. Now, Trump's saying, if I was president, that probably wouldn't have happened. I tend to agree with him.
Yeah,
I tend to agree with him. Because I remember the day when Trump was hosting President Xi down at Mar-a-Lago. And he leaned over, just like you and I are together, this close, Charlie, and he said, President Xi, we just launched a missile to take out Soleimani. You think that didn't have an effect on U.S.-Chinese relations? I will guarantee you it did. So, I mean, you think about that.
I forgot about that.
Yes. So
that was brilliant.
Exactly. So you think about that. Okay, the relationship. And, oh, by the way, I didn't get into that. The relationship with China, it's not exactly great right now. It's sort of salty right now. Well, look, A lot of
Unless you're
American.
California and Governor Hairdo can have you come over and suck up to you for a week.
Speaking of Governor Hairdo, I don't know if you guys caught the debate between DeSantis.
I did.
Okay, now Ron DeSantis is my governor in the state of Florida, and Ron DeSantis has done an exceptional job as governor. A
Absolutely.
little bit better job as governor than he is running for president.
Right.
But again, look, he's going up against a force. And I will share this with a lot of people. Look, I like Ron. He's a great governor. I like President Trump. I like Republicans that stand up for our values. So, Charlie, if President Trump's the nominee, this is no sin on Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, who's a fresh face to the party. And think about some of the great Americans who lost one or two times when they ran for president, but won again. How about Richard Nixon? How about Ronald Reagan? Two pretty high ups in our party from going back. So, in my view, folks, there's no disgrace to running second or third to Donald Trump if the former president ends up winning elections. So, President Trump would have a double distinction, Charlie. He both won an election. Some people would argue he lost. Some people say no, he didn't. But factually, he was president once. Now he's not. And Charlie, here's something our viewers are going to like. Based upon current polling, in the 8-9 key swing states, President Trump is leading President Biden anywhere from 2 to 8 points. Now, that sounds good. We think it's great. The election's still over 310 days out. What did Mike Lindell tell you earlier? Okay, we're up. But as long as these machines are out there, and again, I'm not advocating one or another. Well, it can change as long as people get out and demand that their votes be counted, Charlie. And I think that will happen. I mean, Mike's group is in all 3,100 counties. But the main thing is we have an awareness now. We saw what happened back in 2020. I think Republicans are now in a position where they realize the importance of voting and we know what can happen. So a lot of people at this conference, what have they advocated? Get your friends, get your neighbors, get involved with school boards, communities.
Yes.
Bring people
Start
to the
lifting
poll.
each other up.
Exactly.
Start supporting each other.
All of that is really important. And where does that lead me back to? Look at everything that we've talked about, all these subject matters. When you're sitting around the dinner table and you're thinking, okay, the country right now, why is the economy pretty good for most people? Well, it's because there's a lot more money sloshing around now, Charlie, than before.
Government money. Our money.
Our money.
Our tax dollars.
A lot of our tax dollars. So ask yourself this question.
Which creates horrible inflation.
Well, the inflation was at 9. It's down to 3.1. But even, and I can talk about that a lot, at 3.1% inflation, that's still.
Those are government figures, by the way.
I know. Those are government.
When I go to the grocery store, when I try and fill up, it's not at 3.1.
No, it's not at 3.1. And you know what, folks? Here's an interesting thing. You know, we talk about $2 to $3 a gallon gasoline, which is in some states, Charlie.
I know.
Not in California.
Well, because of our taxes.
It's $5.
Highest taxes of fuel in the nation.
$5 to $5.50 a year. But here's the good news on the horizon. You know, they tout Biden economics. They call it Bidenomics. Have you ever noticed this, Charlie? By all historical standards, if you had growth rates the way we had it this past year, about 2.5% overall annually, 3.7% unemployment, normally you would think that's a pretty good economy. But why is so many Americans hurting and so many people blame Biden? He gets no love for this. And I'll tell you why. A lot of the wealth that got created went to the top 10%, the top 15%. It's exactly what's happened. And people, Charlie, who are looking to put meals on the table on a regular basis, they go to the grocery store. They fill up their car with gasoline. They send their kids to school. A lot of them having to go to private schools because it's crap that gets taught in the public schools. But again, all of this is happening in the context, and Biden and these Democrats think, oh, well, everything's great. We passed this CHIPS Act. We're building chip factories. We're building this. We're growing the economy. Yes, but on whose back is it being grown? Young people. Think about this. People our age, okay, you would save money, buy a house, get a low interest rate mortgage. What if you're in your 20s to 30s now? How are you saving money?
You're not gonna buy a house.
You're not going to buy a house. You're going to rent a house.
Yeah.
So if you can't accumulate enough money to buy a house, and oh, by the way, folks, mortgage rates are still above 7%. Okay. They're not at 8 where they were 2 months ago, but they're still above 7. So, Charlie, if you're sitting here saying, okay, am I better off now 4 years ago? And you're a young voter, you're saying, no, I'm not better. Let me give you another example, Charlie. African American voters. Biden carried that group 90 to 10 in the last election.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
Not
90
now.
to 10 this
No, no.
No, a lot of African American voters are waking up saying, wait a second, I'm suffering under Joe Biden. Why am I going to vote for Joe Biden? And another thing that really ticks people off is the Democratic Party. They throw everybody into these demographic groups. Okay, just because your skin is black, that doesn't mean you have to vote for a Democrat. Just because you may have a different sexual preference than, or, well, women prefer women or a man prefer men. Republicans don't judge people by their sexual preference. We don't judge people by their skin color. We're a big tent party. We welcome everybody into the Republican Party.
And yes, if I may, this is a discussion I just had yesterday with somebody here, and it was about the Republicans don't make people feel welcome. I'm going, that is such a load of crap. Stop even saying that.
That's
If anything, it's absolutely the other way around. I, as a Christian, white male, went into a bastion of liberalism. Would I be welcome there? Or would I be ostracized and kicked out? That is such a lie when people say that, and they say it over and over again.
Charlie, look no further than what happened in Boston, Massachusetts, the last couple of days. The mayor of that city, and remember how Boston used to have this reputation of it was a prejudicial city and whites and so forth. She held a Christmas deal, like a Christmas party. But you know what was it? Who was excluded? If you were white,
yeah,
and you were a man,
you were white.
You were, and
that's the left.
That's the left. Exactly.
But yet our people in our own party are saying, well, we don't make people feel included. Shut up. Stop saying that. We've always been about a rising tide lifts all boats. Exactly. Everybody, come on. We got a great plan. We got a great idea. Let's all win.
That's exactly right. And think about this for a minute. Let's change the dynamic a minute. Okay, so in this case, the mayor of Boston held a party. No whites allowed, especially no white men.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the furor in the mainstream media
the other way around.
If the mayor of Boston held a Christmas event and said, no people of color?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it would be these Republicans. Bedlam. That's
rioting in the streets. Another opportunity for the George Soros funded Antifa to be hitting the road.
Oh, it's exactly right. Oh, you brought up George Soros. Oh my God, you can get me going on that one. Let me share this with you, Charlie. Did George Soros put in a district attorney in Los Angeles that was about the far as left as you go? Yeah. Folks, it's so bad in Los Angeles. Among the most liberal cities in the country, even Los Angeles is rebelling against George Soros. It's not safe on the streets up there. I mean, you can editorialize what you want about red state, blue city, etc. When liberal Democrats are getting ticked off at their district attorney, things have gone too far. I had the unique experience. I actually experienced it because a close friend of mine, her son was killed by a distracted driver. Drunk driver. So we go through the LA court system. And this person ends up, bear in mind, they killed somebody. Probation, a minor fine, monitoring for effectively taking you. The judge said first-time offender. It was within the Soros guidelines of LA County. And someone, think about this, a mother lost her child, and this happens in Los Angeles all the time. A mother lost a child, and the person who did it convicted, probation. Unbelievable. And now, that's one anecdotal thing. But in Los Angeles, people are literally getting fed up with the crime because it's happening everywhere. Now, that is a George Soros-sponsored district attorney. Where was he before that? San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly a bastion of
No,
conservatism in there, Charlie.
It's a walking, talking piece of crap, this guy.
Think about this,
Now, what
folks.
happened to the recall election?
The the recall election.
Why didn't it?
Well, which recall election are you referring to? There's been a few of them. All right, let me talk about San Francisco a minute,
Okay.
because since you brought the subject up, as an American citizen, when I was down at General Mike Flynn's headquarters down in Florida, and we watched this in astonishment. You had Chinese flags lining the streets of San Francisco,
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
And I was astonished by it. I'm looking at this saying, wait a minute. When Gavin Newsom went to San Francisco, he cleaned up the homelessness, made the city look nice. Why? Because President Xi and the Chinese delegation were in San Francisco for an economic conference. He rolled out, no pun intended, Charlie, the red carpet for Chairman Xi. And I'm sitting here.
Wicked dictator.
What he's done. We'll get into that in a minute. But the things that I'm sitting here as an American citizen, forget whether you're left, center, or right. Where were the American flags? I guarantee you, if Donald Trump was president, you would have seen American flags lining that route. But no, we didn't. We saw Chinese flags. And I'm saying to myself, why is this happening?
Why is he flying right to San Francisco, by the way? Why isn't he flying how most foreign dignitaries, especially at that level, you go to D.C. If you're going to go anywhere from there, you go with the president from there. No, our horrid thing that some people call a president flew from D.C. to San Francisco to meet with this wicked dictator with Governor Hairdo. And nobody asked why.
Well, I can sort of explain that one to you. But to be fair, it is. But to be fair about it, it was an economic conference. It was in San Francisco. So I really think what happened, Charlie, was Newsom, Governor Hairdo, was in China, literally, folks, 10 days before this conference. And
that's right, he was.
So my thought process, Charlie, is Newsom was huddling up with Xi. She was, obviously this conference was scheduled, an economic forum. Who benefited from that? China. China benefited from it. So, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, I know we've got a liberal Democratic president. I get it. But Chinese flags on the route?
It's insane.
It is insane. I mean, I'm thinking.
Well, the simple fact that it happened, period, though. Again, what other world leaders were there, by the way?
Well, lots of them. I mean, it was the leaders of the 8 economic powers.
Do we have their flags along that?
No, Charlie, it was conspicuously absent. Only the Chinese flags were there. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if Donald Trump I'm saying if Trump were president, if DeSantis, pick a Republican, you would have at the worst had a Chinese flag, an American flag, like they do, in Washington when diplomats come.
Yeah.
They'll have
flags.
They'll have the United States flag and they'll have the flag of the other country. Yeah. That's sort of respectful.
And if you're going to fly your own flag, you put it on your limo while you're doing your little parade thing.
That's exactly right.
The thing that Governor Hairdo said a couple of days ago, I don't know if you heard it, when somebody finally asked him about, well, what's that all about? He literally said, well, it's about climate change, and we can't take care of it ourselves. We need China's help.
Okay, now let me address this.
The most polluting nation in the world. Them and India. There's a couple
Charlie,
of others.
He
literally said those words.
I know. While we have the great climate ambassador John Kerry representing us.
Exactly.
And folks, you can't make this stuff up. This is why it drives me crazy. You have liberal Democratic policies. They're trying to shut down oil companies. They tried shutting down coal companies, while China is building 2 coal-fired plants. You know how difficult it is to build a coal-fired plant?
As quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. They're doing
so
2.
Germany, by the way.
They're doing 2 a month.
Yeah.
So In the course of a year, China is building at a minimum 24 coal-fired plants. And the geniuses in this Biden administration are trying to shut down our coal companies, penalize oil companies out, to where
Talking about going after them legally
oh my God,
for selling a product that they knew was going to be bad for the environment.
you knew it was going to be bad. First week he was in office, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. That was bad.
Right.
Let me share this with our audience. A little bit of economic news here. The United States has more oil than Saudi Arabia, and it's not even close. Under Donald Trump, Charlie, we were energy independent.
We had plenty for ourselves and enough left over to sell to others.
We were exporting oil. Yes, we were.
Oil and natural gas.
And the Europeans were buying it from us. And guess what? They didn't have to spend money in Russia, where Putin takes those dollars, pours it into military equipment. We were exporting that. Now, under President Biden and the Democrats, not only are they trying to hamper coal companies, oil companies, we have the cleanest burn. I'm going to come back on that in just a second. We have the cleanest burning fuel in the world in natural gas. This country has so much natural gas. The price of natural gas right now is near a 52-week low, Charlie. We have an abundance of it, folks. So not only do they try to say, well, natural gas, it's still dirty. No, it's not. It's the cleanest of all the fossil fuels. And then what else do they do, folks? In Alaska, there's a place called ANWR. It's the Alaska National Wildlife Arctic Reserve, I think is what the acronym stands for.
Which is huge. Hundreds of thousands of acres.
Hundreds of thousands of acres.
Wilderness and wasteland.
Wilderness, wasteland. Not a damn person lives within 100 miles of it, other than a couple people in igloos. But there's like caribou, there's reindeer. There are literally billions of barrels of oil underneath ANWR.
Right.
And under the Trump administration, they went to great pains to start to extract some of it, granted licenses to the oil companies to drill safely. Biden shut it all down. Now, the largest resource in the United States, Charlie, off limits. Folks, we've talked about a lot of policy things here. And what do we talk about at first? Conservatives will debate issues. We win some, we lose some. But my God, the things that we stand for are things that help the American economy and the United States of America.
The left does not debate. They scream, they shout you down, they call you names, they shut you up.
That's exactly.
Platform you, which is why I love what you're doing.
Which gets me back to conservative broadcast media and journalism.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
Buddy.
Okay, so it's CBMJ coming soon to an outlet near you. You're going to have a platform, and I can't reveal the name of it today, but when it comes out, it's going to be something very patriotic, Charlie.
Good.
Something that will come right off your tongue very easily. And conservatives out. This message goes out not to every conservative podcaster, influencer, streamer, media personality. We are going to have the platform to help build that, and it is going to be exciting. And think about this. Okay, you had the old traditional mainstream outlets. Then Fox News came about. Now, a lot of conservatives are ticked off at Fox News now. Still better than the other mainstream media.
Yes.
Then you had Newsmax come along. Okay, they do some good things at Newsmax. But there's not one platform where conservatives can go to feel comfortable and unedited, Charlie, get their voice out. So that's what we're bringing. We're going to be closing December 27th, and good things are going to happen.
Now, you've described Rumble. Rumble's the conservative answer to YouTube. And there's others. Telegram is another that comes to mind. Getter is another one that's people on the right, conservative folks and right-minded people are finding, but they're very exclusive in what they do. And it's usually replicating a platform that's already there, like Twitter or Instagram, Snapchat, that kind of stuff, only with a conservative bent, or at least, I can't say conservative, just we're not going to censor you. So that's fantastic. What you're building, though, this is next level, because we're going to be talking about like a one-stop shop for not only stuff like what I do here on Do Not Talk, but entertainment as well. I mean, you're building an entertainment for conservatives, a platform.
let me give you an example. Like right now, if you turn on your television set, like you have, a lot of people have cable. I know a lot of us cut it, but some of us still have it. If you want cable, you want to watch sports, news, entertainment, movies, we're going to have the same opportunity under conservative broadcast media and journalism. But as an example, if you want news, we're going to have 24-hour news. If you want Christian themed movies, entertainment, we're going to have that. We may have subjects that you have a different interest in. It will all be tilted toward a conservative feel.
That's awesome.
Okay, but we're not just going to be hardcore news all the time. You'll have your choice. Like
Maybe
you
if
may
you're
have,
into that, you've got that on there for you.
that's exact. And the other thing that and again, everything, folks, we don't do it for free. We are going to help our host, our conservative podcasters, hosts like yourself. We're going to help them monetize their business so they can help grow it to further spread the conservative message.
A lot of us have stayed on YouTube, but we alter our language so we
Yes.
don't get kicked off or picked up by their algorithm machines or whatever. I don't do that well,
I'm shocked.
which is why I've been focusing on Rumble, and YouTube has said, we pull one more show and we're pulling the whole damn platform. So my producer and I just said, screw YouTube then. But that's where the money is. It truly is. Some of these conservative ones who are fixing their language and playing the game are making tremendous amounts of money.
Well, we have to allow.
I don't have the brain power to limit myself that way.
Well, I think, Charlie, we have to allow conservatives to voice their opinion without worry of censorship, without worry of being canceled, without worrying, oh my God, I can't do this or say this. Look, we don't want people yelling fire in a crowded theater, but we do want freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and we're not going to edit it.
And the fact that you're going to share some of the whatever advertising revenue and so on that you bring in is greatly encouraging, is what I'm saying.
100%. And
because a lot of us don't have YouTube as a viable option anymore as a platform.
Charlie, I look at it like this. If I can help you build your business and you can spread that conservative word, who's going to win? Not just conservatives are going to win, fair-minded independents, and if we can even convince the liberals that, hey, at least take a look at what we're doing here.
You know who else I just realized wins? Conservative businesses.
Like
Mike Lindell and My Pillow.
Oh,
Conservative businesses that really, maybe with good conscience, can't even advertise on a lot of this stuff now, because how do I say I'm a Christian and a Christian business owner, and then I'm advertising on the latest witch TV from Disney that they're promoting?
Well, think about this. Some of these mainstream media outlets, they loathe what we stand for.
Yeah.
I mean, now, how do you like do it? I have an old saying in business: do business with people you like. Now, we do business with some people we don't, but if you really believe what you're talking about, and it's okay to have contrary opinions, no problem at all. We as conservatives respect multiple views, but we don't want to be told what to do. We don't want to be censored, and frankly, we don't want to take money that we've invested and make people that don't like us wealthier. I mean, they're against what we stand for. Now, but again, we still do business with them. So we're not arrogant enough to think we have all the solutions. But if we can attract that audience, Charlie, and people who are looking for that outlet, there's a gigantic audience of conservatives beyond Fox News and Newsmax. And perfect example is where we are right now. Millions and millions of people are looking for this. And so when someone's looking for something, I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. Just let me allow people to express their freedom of speech.
This is Mark Schaftlein, and I just feel so blessed that I even met him. I'm an extraordinary individual. I love what you're doing. Let me help any way I can. Not for my benefit, honestly. This is a ministry. The show's not even paying for itself at this point, but I don't care. This is a ministry. I'm doing this for the Lord because I follow Ephesians 5:11, which says, be no part of evil, but instead even expose it. That's what I do. Is what drives me.
We need more Charlies of the
I
world,
want
folks. And I'm gonna tell you, I want to thank you for having me on your show today.
CBMJ, which stands for Conservative Broadcast Media Journalism.
Well said.
But where do we find you?
Well, you're going to find us at. Let me hold off until December 27th.
Because I know, but in the meantime, if anybody wants to contact you because they have some questions,
right now you can go to ampnews.us because conservative
AMP,
ampnews.us, or American Media Periscope if you want to catch some of our shows. Because one of the first things CBMJ did, Conservative Broadcast Media and Journalism, it purchased American Media Periscope assets, all the shows, the streaming, the podcast. So we've got a fabulous lineup of podcasters, people that do shows, and we pick it up and restream. Like the event we're at today, a lot of Trump rallies. You can pick up all that stuff with us too.
Good.
So
the stuff that OAN used to show.
The stuff OAN used to show, you can pick that up on our networks.
Good.
And if you go to ampnews.us, you can pick it up. You can go to American Media Periscope. But coming December 27th, big news coming. We're going to have a platform for you, and it will be well publicized. And we'll be talking about it.
You need to be on again.
Oh, and you need to be my guest.
There you go. I'd be glad to. I'd be honored. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And I'm Charlie Simons. This is Do Not Talk. Rumble.com/Do Not Talk and all the other platforms wherever we can. If you could like, subscribe, and share, you help us out so much. As he can tell you, with the monetization, you got to have a certain amount of subscriptions. And we don't spam you, but we do. We'll let you know whenever we put up a new show. That's how that works. Thank you, Kirk Deshawn, Forefront Aerial Productions, my producer. And may God bless you and keep you. And may God bless America. But most importantly, may America bless God. Are you a military guy?
My father was.